specific questions. Another thing is you want to know, how do you recognize these beings? You think about all the senses. It's not like when someone comes to you, when a first being comes to you, it's not like they say, "Hello, my name is Archangel Michael. How do you do? I would like to communicate with you." It's not like that. What they do is they just come, and what happens is you either feel something, or you might suddenly see a color, or just see something in your mind. But the way I describe the way I see things, it's like, if someone walks by like this and I'm looking like this, and I see, it's almost like I have to imagine what I'm seeing of this person that walks by. That's how I see. So you got to get used to seeing like that. Some people, I've actually found that people who have had um, trauma in their families, where they're told they're no good and all this kind of stuff, they tend to be not feeling at all. Like they just don't know, but they can see, they can get visuals. Like when they're meditating this, they're the ones that tell, "Oh, the meditation, I had this happen and this happened and this, and then this next thing." And it's like this story that happens. So those people might see much more, more than I do, as an example, when a being might come. As we'll use Archangel Michael as an example, because he's here. So when we use him as an example, he might show up and he might present himself as either an angel with an energy, or as in, like, that sexy Archangel Michael look that that he has. And or if it's just the aura, then what you do is, and you might not know who it is yet, because you're not going to necessarily hear the name. So have patience there, because it could take 20 minutes for you to receive that name, and to understand who it is. Because what you need to do is, what's happening is, it's like calibration is happening with your energy field. And so your energy field is slowly raising with him being there. And the more it does, then what happens is you start to experience him more. And then you start to tap into the field of knowledge. So what you do is you pay attention to the field of knowledge, and then you connect to the divine mind, and you ask, who are you? What is your name? And then pay attention to the field of energy of what this name is. And then you may get it. You might not get it during that sitting, but you might get it suddenly pop up in your head, like a day later, or 2 days later, or sometimes a week later, usually earlier. But that's kind of the process. But the key thing here is to focus on, when a being first comes, ask, okay, what is it that I'm seeing? So then you think, you remember what you're seeing, then pay attention to what you're feeling. What does this being want to assist with? What is their quality of energy? What do they help humanity with? And then they will present to you a feeling. For those who can't feel, they may present like an image of them doing something that represents that feeling. And then tap into the field of knowing. And from the field of knowing, you can communicate with this being. And so the key thing here is to activate the divine mind. And to do that, you must go into the heart center, the sacred heart area. You go into that portal, and you activate that. And then you place your attention on the divine mind, which is your soul star chakra, 30 centimeters above your head. And when you're in that state, you're always there, and you ask who is here to communicate with you. You ask the questions, and you receive the answers, not here, not in your ears. You receive the answers through the thoughts popping up in your head. So the key thing here is to always keep your consciousness in the divine mind, but make sure you ground by connecting to the Earth Star chakra, 30 centimeters below your feet. It's really important, because when you're in this field for just a short period of time, it could be 10 minutes, you might feel like dizzy. You can feel quite lightheaded, let's just say that. And you don't want to feel lightheaded every time you do it, because over time you will feel the effects of it. So and then this is how you communicate, is connecting to the divine mind, and then paying attention to the thoughts that are in your head. But do not connect in the field of the mind. So it takes time to discover this and to practice it. Does that help?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yes. So the important chakras are heart, higher heart, open the portal, go to the soul star, bring the divinity within, and at the same time, ground yourself with the root chakra and the earth star chakra, both of them, so that you don't feel dizzy. So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. You have mentioned that sometime back, you mentioned that you've been guided and you channel Indian gurus. So I'm curious to know if you channeled Paramahansa Yogananda ji, and what were your experiences with him?
Who was it you mentioned? Paramahansa?
Yeah.
I did actually. I did experience it. And so interesting. I have a love for him because he was one of in my 20s. I came across his book. But most people don't talk about this book, Divine Romance. It's a beautiful book. It's of his teachings that he did. And that book actually has his last teaching when he knew he was going to die. And he had a gathering, and he said, okay, it is time. I'm going to go now. And he left his body in front of everyone and died. Well, pretty amazing. So that book, I was blown away by experiencing it. And I feel like he's a bit of a kindred spirit. So I have that connection. Even my face, I notice the facial features. There's a similarity in the facial features too. So I have this connection with him, and I have channeled him once, but I've never thought of channeling him before. So it's not, because usually what I do is I see who comes to me and I channel them rather than me, because there can be a mistake that I'm creating it if that happens. His personality feels strong, and also it feels like someone is giving a lecture, that kind of thing. He's like a teacher, just wants to teach. He's got that energy of teaching, and to really, and it's almost like the vibration of his essence is to bring forth the power of the divine through you, so that you feel, it's kind of like you feel blown away by it. You get reminded of the divine. So that's what his presence is like. He's very steadfast in that feeling of the presence.
Wow. Yeah, I have read Autobiography for Yogi, and I'm reading it again. And when you talked about the first time you had this very divine experience, you mentioned that your soul or higher self asked scientific questions. And Paramahansa Yogananda ji, he has actually converged science and spirituality in a very beautiful way. He could have these superpowers where he could check the vibration, the exact vibration of the soul, and understand certain workings and all. So he's mentioned that in his book. So I was curious to know about him. You have mentioned that you have channeled 70 higher beings. I mean, there's so many. Do you remember if they have been there, or some of them have been there with you across lifetimes? Because what I understand is that some spirit guides are there across lifetimes. And of course, now we know that there is no such thing as past life and future life. It's all happening at the same time. We all have parallel lives as per the quantum theory and the multiverse theory as such. So, can you talk about if you have any memories of your other lifetime and these masters or spirit guides guiding you in them?
It's interesting because the Ascended Masters, what they've said to me is that, like, they've laughed at me often because, and this was many years, this was like 20 years ago. They said, we're laughing because you have no idea, trying to connect to them in my early 30s. The Indigenous Council of the Elders, they are this council of Indigenous people who want to share teachings from what they've learned in the past. And to my surprise, I've experienced myself as Indigenous in South America, and not South America, in North America and the US. I'm Canadian. And in the what they call the Four Corners, so basically the area of Arizona, that area. And I saw two lifetimes. I saw one as a female and one as a male. And I saw myself in Canada in the West as an Indigenous, as a male. So, and I experienced some challenges there as the male. I experienced the white people coming and killing and, all this kind of stuff. So I experienced some hardships, but I did experience love as the Indigenous woman back then. And when these Indigenous Council of the Elders come, I sense that they're trying to share with me that they know me. So some of them could be that I had experienced some of those lives with them. When it comes to other beings that I typically have channeled, like Kuan Yin, Isis, Athena, all that kind of stuff, I haven't really experienced them in another life that I'm aware of. Mary Magdalene, though, when I connect with her, it feels like me in a way. Like I feel there's something there where we knew each other in other lifetimes. So I feel that and she's the one that came through for my main teachings that I do.